I don't know what we have going on here. I have no idea how much you're supposed to put in here. I might actually end up killing them. I know nothing about fish. They kept a dog in here. That's so sad. And this is actually the first time I've had to evict someone. So I'm gonna snoop in his mail a little bit, see if I can find anything about where he works. Evictions, evictions, evictions. Such a nasty word in real estate. And I've done about 600 deals in my life at this point. And this is actually the first time I've had to evict someone. I am the niche guy. I love working with people. It's my core value to treat people the right way, not to just kick people out of their home, but to try to accommodate them, work with them. As long as someone keeps communication with me, whether it be text communication, call, I'm willing to work with them. I understand they're going through a really difficult time in their life. I want to give them a chance to win. But in this situation, the guy completely ghosted us. Nothing we ever did was good enough to communicate with him. He just wouldn't talk, so we had to start filing the eviction. Let me give you some backstory on this house. This was a foreclosure property. We bought this house about 14 months ago. Yes, 14 months ago. From the very beginning, the guy did not pay. He didn't make us one payment. So this is the danger of taking down a property subject to at a foreclosure. If you don't have any reserves and you have a property like this one come along, you can be in a lot of trouble. So here are the stats on this one. There's about $170,000 left on the mortgage. To reinstate the mortgage, we had to bring about $30,000 at the closing. He is about $20,000 behind on his payments to us, and who knows what types of damage we've done because we have not seen this property yet. So all in all, we're upwards of $50,000 into this property, and it's been a year and we haven't seen any return on that money. So if you're someone with no reserves, this type of property can cause a big problem for you. So finally, we filed the eviction. We got the courts to approve it. It took forever. The guy was able to get it delayed with a group called KC Tenants, the bane of my existence, that basically supports anyone that shouldn't be supported when it comes to rent. So finally, we got it approved. The sheriff came out and took a look at the house a couple of days ago. He claimed that the tenant moved out and that we could enter the premises. But I have not seen this house. You're gonna get a first look with me, get a live reaction. My goal in taking a look at the house today is to figure out what we're gonna do with it. Are we going to keep it as a subject to rental and fix it up again? Are we gonna fix and flip it? Are we gonna sell it as a wrap? We bought this house at about market value at the time, so it's one of those that we very well may lose money, but we're gonna break that down, try to figure it out, and give you an honest look of what can happen with an investment that goes wrong. So let's take a look at it, see what we find. Ooh. Ominous, just like what's gonna happen here. Well, first reaction is the guy couldn't even take his fish. It looks like there's, oh, that's sad. Looks like there's a dead frog in there. We found this guy probably a couple of days before the foreclosure sale. I know based on our Salesforce notes, acquisition guy put a note on this door, a little sticky note, said that we could help. He responded. And it was a mad dash type transaction to figure out, you know, can we get the sale stopped? Can we reinstate it? Are we gonna buy it subject to? Do the numbers work? So one of the things that I'll do is I will take a property down, I will let someone stay and rent it, even if they couldn't keep up with the mortgage. I kind of take a calculated bet. This guy said he got laid off, was gonna get a job back, and he was gonna make upwards of $80,000 a year, which made sense for renting this house. He would have easily be able to afford it. Problem was, I don't think he ever went back to work. And he took advantage of our kindness, kind of deferred on paying. We were probably a little bit too nice in how long it took us to file the eviction, but let's take a look at what we got. So when we bought this, based on the pictures, it really probably needed about a $25,000 rehab to get it up to snuff. They've definitely been hard on it. My immediate concern is, Austin, if you can kind of pan close to the edges of the ceiling, you can see that there's some movement in the house. There's probably some sort of foundation issue. You can see it kind of follows the cracks here. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that. But luckily there's no holes. It's not completely disgusting. It needs a good bit of work, but let's keep going here. So we've got this wonderful kitchen. I don't think our tenant has a future in painting cabinets. I don't know what we have going on here, painting it red. I know this is Chief's Kingdom, but that's probably not a great choice there. So bathroom, not a whole lot going on, just needs a cosmetic rehab. And really, he didn't leave the house too bad. I was kind of worried that a lot of times in these situations, people will be angry, they'll be vindictive, punching holes in the wall, destroying stuff on purpose, clog the toilets and cause a flood in that way. But it seems like this guy took most of his stuff and didn't leave it in too bad a shape. So, I mean, we could do a really basic cosmetic rehab. He's kind of given us a good blank slate, so to speak. We just got to run the numbers and then figure it out. But I'm actually pretty happy. I was kind of afraid coming in here that it was going to be destroyed, but this is kind of a normal blank slate for a flip house. So I haven't seen anything yet that's overly concerning. The other bedrooms are kind of what you expect. Ooh, purple. Yeah, this is the master bedroom. You can see the quality of tenant we had when they're focused on Fortnite and where we dropping boys. This looks like Fortnite stuff. So instead of working, apparently he was playing video games. I have no idea what this llama piñata thing is, but. And we're clearly dealing with a man-child because every room has like the little LED strip, so must have been a gamer.
You're going to upset some people in your comments if they have...
Hey, you know, if you're in real estate and you're doing all kinds of video games, you're probably not going to make it. Have fun, though. I didn't have any idea that this thing had a covered porch. So this is kind of a nice feature. And the sheriff, when they made sure the place was vacant, they did alert us of this car over here. It does look like it's kind of damaged, so we're gonna have to figure out how that car is titled. I don't know if it's worth a whole lot, but we may need to get in contact to who it's titled to, see if we can figure out some sort of solution. But this is a nice place for people out back. Hopefully it's a selling point. This house has so much tree issues, we're probably gonna have to spend, I don't know, $3 or $5 grand just to clean up the trees, so that's exciting. We're gonna feed these fish. They've probably been starving for a week now. Oh, the frog's alive. I saw him move. I have no idea how much you're supposed to put in here. I might actually end up killing him. I know nothing about fish. Don't get mad at me. My only experience with fish was when I was a little kid, and I thought you had to give fish baths, so I took my pet fish out of the tank and put him in the sink bowl and scrubbed him, and like you would a person. Well, he didn't make it. So ever since then, I'm like, I'm not really qualified to take care of fish. So any fish enthusiasts, please forgive me. Any Fortnite people, please forgive me. I'm just making enemies. So my main concern in this house is the basement, and before we even go down there, my suspicions that there's a foundation issue are confirmed. I'll take a look down the stairs there, Austin. We got missing drywall and stuff. Lovely. So I don't know if there's been water down here or what's going on, but we'll see. It doesn't really smell like there's been water down here recently, but there's definitely been an issue in the past. All this flooring's been stripped up, this drywall's been stripped. I don't know if they planned on renovating it or something, but we're definitely gonna have to figure out what to do down here. Let's take a look at the mechanicals. They actually look pretty good. I'm not an HVAC expert, but generally when you've been in thousands of houses like these, you start to identify what a newer unit looks like. These A.O. Smith brand, it's a newer brand. This is probably, I would say, 3 to 5 years old, something like that. This system, I don't know, probably in the same ballpark. I don't know what they had in this room. I don't know if they kept a dog in here. Oh man. Yeah, there's dog food. They kept a dog in here. That's so sad. Back here you got a Harry Potter room of sorts. I don't even know what you do with this. Looks like there's a stub for a bathroom, so you could potentially do that, but
Pretty small.
this is kind of a weird space back here. Take a look outside, see what kind of whip we got in the backyard. The ACs kind of looks like it's about equivalent with some of the other HVAC systems. It looks like it's 3 or 5 years old, so nothing too concerning there. So I'm really thinking the value of this video isn't just walking through this or seeing what can happen with a property like this if it goes wrong. It's really breaking down the numbers. So when we're done taking a look at this, stay on the video. We're gonna go back to the office, get on the whiteboard. I'm gonna break down the numbers for what it would look like if we just listed the house as is number-wise, what it would look like if we flipped it, what it would look like if we kept it as a rental, and maybe we can come to a consensus, and that way you can kind of see the thought process on how we should evaluate a property like this. So stay around for that, but let's look at this car. Let's see what we got here. See if it's unlocked. Hey. So apparently we're a smoker, so already going down in value, but really on this one I wouldn't even care to make money on it. I just want someone to pull it off the lot and get it out of my way. But as you can see, a lot of different landscaping that needs to be done. So all in all, this house, if you're gonna flip it, it probably needs, I don't know, $35,000 or $40,000. There's nothing really concerning. It looks to be mostly cosmetic. From what I've seen of the roof, I don't think you can see it too well. Maybe Austin can get a shot on the front of the house, but it looks good. HVAC looks good. Mostly it's just cosmetic. Now we are going to go after him to try to garnish his wages. He's said that he isn't going to pay. We're not gonna be able to find him. We're not gonna be able to find his workplace. So I thought about going through some mail that I saw up there to see if we could figure out where he works. So I'm gonna go look for that. And then right after that, we're gonna go to the whiteboard, break this thing down, see if we can come up with a disposition strategy. So I'm gonna snoop in his mail a little bit, see if I can find anything about where he works. Guy said he isn't gonna show me where he works. Looks like Ford General Motors. Let's see what this is. So more than likely, this is a place that he would work. The plant's probably a couple miles from here, so I'll pass that along to my attorney so that we can try to garnish his wages. I'm not that guy that just tries to take people's money, but when you're $20,000, $25,000 behind, I mean, at some point I've got to get some of that back. But we're gonna head back to the office, take a look on the whiteboard, and figure out what the best plan for this house is. So at the house, I told you that we had bought this house pretty much at market value. We bought it subject to, out of foreclosure, and we were under the assumption, based on conversations with the seller, that he had a good paying job, he was gonna be there for multiple years, and that the investment would turn out pretty good. But he did not make us one payment. We ended up having to evict him. It was the first time that I've had to evict anyone. So what I wanted to do was kind of break down in real time, I actually have not done this, break down in real time the numbers on the house and decide whether we want to treat this as a flip, do we want to re-rent it, or do we want to sell it on a wrap? We're just gonna go through some numbers, kind of figure out which play is the best for us right now. So let's go over the basic numbers of the house before we get started. So I mentioned these a little bit before, but our purchase price, or our purchase was over a year ago. We purchased this property February of 2023. So this has been a long slog. So I'm really not wanting to break even or lose money on a house that we've been jacking with for what, 18 months now. So some basic numbers. The reinstatement of the house was $28,000. So we had to pay that. That was what the arrears on the house were. So to buy it subject to, that was our buy-in price. Our mortgage balance as it stands is $169,000. But if you factor in the reinstatement number, we're give or take $200K in. Okay, it could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but that's kind of a simple number to go off of. Interest rate, 3.25%, so really good interest rate. So that bodes well for rent, or if we wanted to sell it on a wrap, we could give a favorable interest rate to the end buyer. Our PITI, 1234, not making that up, $1,234. If it was fully renovated, it would go for about $1,650 a month. Probably needs about $40,000 in repairs. In our ARV, if we flipped it, probably about $40,000 put into the house. That's what it would be worth. So let's go ahead and break down each one of these through a flip disposition, rent disposition, and a wrap disposition, and kind of decide which way would be the most beneficial. Okay, so I'm going to start with the flip side of things. Okay, we're $200,000 into this house. Okay, that's our all-in. Sorry if my handwriting's terrible. And we're going to have to put $40,000 into the house, $40,000 investment to rehab the property, okay? And let's say we sell it for this $280,000 number over here. So let's just start backing out all of our numbers. Okay, the $280,000 sale price. And I'm going to assume that we're going to have about 8% in selling costs. The way I'm coming up with that is 3% realtor for the buyer, 3% realtor for the seller, perhaps a percent of closing costs, and a percent for various fixes they may ask for. So will it always be that expensive? No, but I'm being a little bit conservative here. So we're going to take that times 0.92. Let me run that number real quick. As I said, I have not done this. So we have 280,000 times 0.92. That comes out to 257,600 bucks. Okay? And then we have to take out our $40,000 in repairs. Okay, so that leaves us with $17,600. Then we have all of our, potential holding costs. We have our lenders. We have all that different type of stuff. So let's just say that all that stuff might cost, I don't know, between lending and holding costs, for simple numbers, I'm just going to call it 7,600 bucks. I'm kind of making that up, trying to make the math make sense. So that leaves $10,000 of potential profit from a flip. And as we all know, that $10,000 could go to $5,000 or zero, or even lose money if things don't go well on that rehab. So this doesn't excite me a whole lot in terms of the flip. Now, if we don't want to own it long term and we just want to get out from underneath it, maybe this is a good option. Okay? But let's go ahead and section this off. Let's go ahead and check out what it would look like if we re-rented the property. Now, how are we going to do that? It needs quite a bit of work. It needs about $40,000 worth of work to get it in rent-ready condition. So we're going to end up having to take that out from a private money lender. Now, in my experience in these situations, if I can get someone's money working for a long period of time, I can probably get that money at about 8%. So if I need $40,000 in money, and it's going to be 8% money, let's put that into the trusty calculator. That would be $3,200 per year. And per month, that ends up being about $266 per month. Okay? So if we remember that our rent rate is $1650 rent rate, and our PITI is $1,234. That leaves us what? $416. Leaves us $416 of cash flow before you factor in CapEx, before you factor in management, before you factor in all that stuff. So let's say factoring all that in, maybe an insurance, maybe it's a $150 in cash flow a month. Is that exciting to me? Not overly, but what's exciting to me with this option is that I have a very nice asset in a nice area, and then I can take depreciation, do a cost segregation study, and get all those tax benefits. I don't know what that would end up being in terms of the tax benefits per year, but it could probably be $25,000, $40,000 in tax benefits. So I'm going to put that down. So if I have that type of write-off, it's really going to help me in the next tax season. So that's something that you really got to factor in. Is the 150 very sexy in terms of the cash flow? No, that's not life-changing. But if you're a high-income earner and you have that type of tax assistance next year for your taxes, that's a big thing to factor in. Okay, so that's kind of the breakdown for rent. Let's talk about a wrap. Now, sometimes if you have a really good interest rate, you have a really good PITI, you have a property in a really good area, and you're a little tight with your flip and your rent numbers, you can sell the property on a wraparound mortgage to an end buyer that maybe they can't qualify for a traditional loan, but they have a lot of money. Maybe they're in the trades, maybe they do roofs and plumbing and electrical. They have a lot of money, they just can't get approved. So in a typical situation like this, I would take the property value right now, which is $280, kind of project out 3 or 5 years. Let's do 5-year note. So you could take the ARV now, project it out an average of 3% appreciation per year for 5 years, and then multiply that out times 1.15. Let's do the math here. 280,000 times 1.15 comes out to 322,000 that I could potentially sell this for on a wrap. Now, I have a really good PITI, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have a really nice interest rate. I don't want to, really hurt these guys. I'll probably give them something that's at market rate, something like 7.5%, 8%, and then I can ask for a down payment. Okay, let's say that on a down payment like this, be conservative, I can ask for 10%. So you'd ask for, give or take, $32,000. So that down payment immediately gets my reinstatement money back. I have that $28,000 in reinstatement. I get that back plus a little bit, and I'll have some cash flow. I haven't done the amortization schedule. I have no idea what at 7.5% interest, what that would actually end up being per month. I'm going to make something up, so in the comments you can go ahead and correct me. But let's just make up a reasonable number. Let's say that it's $2,000 a month payment to me every month, and our PITI is 1, 2, 3, 4. You would have somewhere in the ballpark of, $750 a month cash flow before any expenses. So the benefit of the wrap is that I get that big down payment. I get my original investment back, plus I get some decent cash flow, but I do not get the tax benefits. The tax benefits are going to transfer over to my end buyer on the wrap, whereas on the rent, I don't necessarily get a down payment or anything like that. I don't get as much cash flow, but I do get those tax benefits. So here's our 3 different ways. Each option, it looks like I'm going to come out, making some money, but some of these options provide for longer term wealth opportunity and wealth creation. So down in the comments below, after reviewing these, maybe doing your own numbers, maybe doing some of the amortization schedule on your own time, which one would you pick? Put in the comments, flip, rent, or wrap. Which one would you do in your personal business? Every one of you might be a little bit different based on where you are in your business and where you want to be financially. So I'd be curious to know, where would you go with this deal? Put it in the comments below. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know if you'd like to see more breakdowns like this. Hopefully the math made sense to you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.